What's going on, guys? It's Lawrence from Just Geeking Out. This is our Sunday show where we go live every Sunday, usually at 4 o'clock Pacific time. But I'm a little tardy today. I apologize. Had some family stuff. I'm also going solo today. So it's just going to be me, but we're going to have some fun. We're going to talk about Comic Con. There were so many toy reveals. We're going to talk about Fantastic Four. We're going to talk about Peacemaker, Superman. Listen, it's going to be dope. So whether you catch this live or catch this on the rerun, is that a thing? Make sure you comment your thoughts on what I'm talking about. But also subscribe, hit that notification bell. Come on. Let me just make sure my audio is what it needs to be. There we go. That's much better. Okay, so I'm only going to talk about the stuff that I really like. But I will definitely touch on anything that comes up in the live if you're out there. So man, the first thing I want to talk about is that the Superman. Superman, it's not on Box Office Mojo yet, but apparently it's hit the $500 million mark already, which is freaking dope. I know people are comparing it to Man of Steel, comparing it to what they think superhero movies should do in the movie theaters, etc. Let's go. What's going on? I'm solo today. So it's gonna be a quicker show. But so Superman hit that $500 million mark. Fantastic Four has already hit the highest 2025 MCU opening weekend number. It beat Superman's opening weekend number. To me, there is no competition. I want both movies to thrive, but I think we need to be realistic with what we think the box offices may be. When Man of Steel came out, that was a year after the Avengers. It was before the pandemic. Things were a little different. Now we have superhero fatigue. The MCU is trying to come back. The DCU is trying to get good faith after a failed universe and franchise, on top of the fact that people aren't going to the movies as much anymore. So when Superman hits 500 million, hopefully it hits 6. When Fantastic Four hits 5, 6, or 700 million, that's good in this day and age, right? So we can't compare it to the way things were because so many things has changed. Now, I will say, I saw Fantastic Four, and I'll get into that a little later, but I think it was a huge disservice to both films for them to come out within 2 weeks of each other. I saw Fantastic Four opening weekend, and I checked the box office numbers. Superman made $7 million that Friday. Apparently, people were saying Fantastic Four is better than James Gunn's Superman. I've heard it. I've heard both sides. If you were going to ask me, I would actually say Superman is better, but for different reasons. They both do what they set out to do really well. So Superman, I'm gonna get into it, etc. I have a whole thing planned. I might just get into it right now, because it's not really spoilery. But I think it was a huge disservice for both films to come out back to back like this. Like I said, when I saw Fantastic Four on Friday, Superman made $7 million that Friday, which means a lot of people went to go see Superman on Friday night when Fantastic Four came out. And I felt like we're the same geeks. We're the same diehards. Or the casuals that want a good time in the theaters. It's the same audience, and you're kind of splitting them. So I don't know why they came out in the same month. A Fantastic Four should have came out in August, or Superman should have came out in June. I don't know. Or they should have found a way to use each other, like freaking Barbenheimer. They should have found a way to make it a super fantastic summer, and that would have made it like an event. That's why Barbie and Oppenheimer made so much money. They both became this theatrical event you couldn't miss, although they're very different. So if DC and Marvel found a way to make this such a super fantastic summer with David Cornsweet got his popcorn bucket of Galactus saying, I'm going to see Fantastic Four. And Pedro Pascal with his crypto popcorn bucket saying, I'm going to go see Superman. Both, it would have made, I think both probably would hit like 800 million just because they would have turned it into an event. And that's what's bringing people to the theaters right now. Things that feel like an event, right? Mission Impossible, the last one, didn't make the money we thought it should. People aren't going out like that. And literally these movies are dividing the audience. Now, etc. To your point of Fantastic Four and Superman, it's very interesting because they both do the same exact thing. This is spoiler free. You can see this in the trailers. They both do the same exact thing of, Fantastic Four is definitely inspired by that Jack Kirby era, right? And Superman is full on inspired by that Silver Age. So they both kind of have that Silver Age science fiction quirkiness, right? Like neither world are trying to say they're the real world. It's not like Iron Man 1 where the world seems pretty much like ours and then here comes Iron Man. No, Fantastic Four's world is just as it's just as stylized as Superman. Very different, but it's definitely not the real world. This futuristic 1960s. So they're very similar in that way. They're also very similar in that neither one is an origin story, right? With Superman and Fantastic Four, we're kind of dropped into the middle of what they've been doing. The Fantastic Four have been the Fantastic Four for a little bit. It's just like Superman's been Superman for 3 years. So both films are like, we're going to kind of skip past the origin and jump right in the middle. I don't know if that works as well for Fantastic Four because I don't know if the casuals, know their origin as well as they do Superman. But they both kind of do the same thing. This is what I think it comes down to taste. James Gunn made Superman a shot of freaking adrenaline. He hits the gas and it don't let up. That movie jumps around. The pace is psychotic. But I think that's exactly what the DCU needs to be. Because literally, it's a shot of adrenaline into a dead franchise. The DCEU, not coming at Snyder, but as a whole, put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. So James Gunn had to create a Superman film that was going to come in and punch you in the face and not let up. It's going to be zany. It's going to be quirky. People always say Superman's boring. He came out the gate and he's like, it's not going to be boring. I haven't seen the new Fantastic Four yet, but is it better than? Yes. Spoiler alert. It is the best Fantastic Four movie ever made. And the bar might be low. Yes. I will say Fantastic Four 2005 and 7, without giving anything away, I can say those films were more fun. They might be more fun, but not better. No. Fantastic Four is good. It actually is really good. But like Superman is a shot of adrenaline into a dead franchise because DC has been in such a deficit. Marvel has the opposite problem. It's been in such abundance. There's so much of it. So the Fantastic Four's approach is actually a slower story. The pace is a little slower. The story structure is a little bit more simple, and it is somewhat formulaic. It's almost like Marvel is kind of going back to its phase one grassroots, where Superman needed to like come out like swinging. Well, I disagree with that. I wholeheartedly disagree with that one. Wholeheartedly. And as a matter of fact, etc., I saw it again last week, and it was even better the second time. It was even better the second time. When Lois Lane is saying there's nothing punk rock about you, like every time you look at someone, you see nothing but the beauty in people. And Superman's like, well, what if that is punk rock? There's just so many sweet moments. Oh. And I disagree with you. James Gunn, I would say James Gunn is exactly what Superman needed. Now, there's so much bad faith in the DC in DC that you kind of almost have to come out the gate obnoxiously swinging because like the last 5 movies that came out of DC, with the exception of the Batman, all flopped in the box office. All of them. And so Superman couldn't be boring. It had to, and maybe it might have been too zany at parts. But honestly, in the rewatch, yo, it's dope. I wished it would have slowed down a bit, like Fantastic Four did. And spoiler, not spoiling anything. I wish Fantastic Four turned it up a little bit, like Superman. I asked the wife if she wanted to see James Gunn Superman, and she said, "Heck no." Well, I took my wife the second time. I went to go see it, and she enjoyed it. She loved it, and she did not like Man of Steel at all. 2013, Man of Steel came out on my birthday. We went to go see it with friends. I was the only one that walked out that theater liking that movie. My 2 friends and my wife were like, "What is that? What is that? So bleak. There was no romance. There was no chemistry." They were upset. So my wife, seeing this version, I felt like, oh, it's getting back to the way I remember it, which is, the Donner films. But we can have a whole talk about Superman. But I did see Fantastic Four, and I did leave a review. So I'm going to give you my spoiler-free thoughts. I kind of just gave them, where I think it was really good. It plays it safe, but I almost think it had to restore good faith back into the MCU, which is crazy because we look at Phase 5 like it was whack. It's funny. My wife hates Man of Steel, but loves Superman 78. She didn't like Man of Steel. She didn't think Henry Cavill, not that he couldn't have been, but the choice of his character wasn't charming, wasn't charismatic. Superman and Lois's relationship, I think, felt a bit forced for her. The end as they have their first kiss on like thousands of dead bodies. It just didn't give her the Christopher Reeve feeling. And since she's not a Superman fan, since she doesn't follow the comics, she's going in with that Donner film expectation. Maybe your wife did the same thing. But listen, I like Man of Steel, so I'm not knocking it. She didn't like it, but she did like James Gunn. So if we're similar, your wife is probably gonna hate the new Superman, as my wife likes it. But the casting was great. Yo, Pedro Pascal is great as Reed Richards, and I'm not a Fantastic Four comic reader, so I can't back that up with comics. But he gives us such a great performance of someone who, like, it almost hurts to be that smart, to have your thoughts go to different places. Like the cast were great. I do wish that Johnny Storm. It's kind of like what you see in the trailers. I do wish he was a little bit more of a hothead, kind of a dirtbag, a little bit. He's very nice, and he's a little. He's charismatic and sometimes overconfident, but yeah, he doesn't give. No, Chris Evans is like who I imagine as Human Torch. Um, And yeah, it was very different. I definitely prefer the Chris Evans version of Human Torch more. But this one was good too. Can I talk spoilers a little bit? Talk a little bit spoilers. Spoilers real quick. I already have a whole review up, so I'm not going to get too deep. But what I will say about Fantastic Four, since I didn't, I just, my first review, I was right out the theater. I had more time to think about it. Fantastic Four, to me, it was great in establishing the characters in the world. The CGI is beautiful. The CGI beats Superman CGI like significantly. It's visually a beautiful film. Um, the way they depict their black hole and Silver Surfer, just gorgeous, and the characters were great. It's just the pace was so slow, and I know I said it had to be, and I was down for it. But that big battle at the end, I won't say too much. You can go listen to my review. It just didn't have that third act action packed fight you're waiting for. And the director didn't find any innovative way to show how they use their powers at all. Sue is just using her force field powers to push, and Reed is stretching. But I was looking for, like, how are you going to show me how they use their powers? How are you going to show me how they work together as a team? This is Marvel's first family, right? We got to see like teams like how the X-Men work together and use their powers off of each other. I wanted to see that with the Fantastic Four. Like, you have a guy like Superman who's literally been on the big screen since the 1940s, if you want to count the serials, and 1978, obviously, and so much. And James Gunn still found a way for him to use his powers in ways we've never seen before, live action. Something as simple as using his breath to push the dog out the way so it doesn't get squished, or flying and having all those hordes on him, and him doing the corkscrew thing, and then doing a freaking tornado heat vision. Like, that's a really cool, innovative way to use his powers that we haven't seen before. But Fantastic Four doesn't do any of that. We don't really see Thing really hit anything like that. I mean, he does a little bit, but it's not like the way you want it. Johnny's he's throwing fireballs, but it's nothing that we haven't seen before. There's only been three three Fantastic Four films we're talking about. And there's that one back in the day that was unreleased. There's not that many. There's no reason why I should see them use their powers in this film. And it's like nothing I haven't seen before. So that's my critique. But Galactus looked dope. He looks so dope. The stakes were kind of lukewarm. Spoilers. Galactus wants Franklin, and either hand over the baby or lose your world. And I think as fans, we know, well, they're never going to give up the baby. And I highly doubt the Earth is going to end. So you kind of already know, like, everything's going to be fine. And everything was fine. I would have been more interested if the Earth did end, because it's a parallel Earth. And the Fantastic Four were brought into the main MC. I don't know. But the stakes were kind of low. You knew what was going to happen. And so that made the slower part feel even slower. Like, if it's a slow burn, then we get to this end that's like, yo, then it's worth it. But if it's a slow burn and we get to an end that's very predictable, kind of like, And if y'all thought the CGI dog was too much as far as CGI, although I thought it looked great, that baby will take you out. Didn't take me out. I suspend my disbelief. But that baby could be the stuff of nightmares, Franklin. What else? Yeah, I just thought the stakes were pretty low. And I will also say that they're Marvel's first family. And what I would have liked to have seen is whatever is going on puts their family in jeopardy, right? As a family, as a unit, they kind of start pretty tight, working well together, and they end pretty tight, working well together. Like, their dynamic was never in jeopardy. Their family dynamic was never had a dilemma. Reed and Sue had a slight dilemma, but nothing so much you didn't believe they weren't going to work it out. So, yeah, I mean, the stakes were really safe. The story was really safe. The visuals were beautiful. The performances were excellent. And that's where I'll leave it. That's where I'll leave that. Yo, Peacemaker trailer dropped. That joint looks sick. And listen, I'm glazing James Gunn. I'm glazing him because if you saw the trailer, they're doing what I wanted Marvel to do. Like, Marvel used the multiverse as a way to just make things interesting, but it wasn't story driven in all of their content, right? But in Peacemaker, the multiverse is part of the story. He feels like a schmuck on his Earth, and he finds a parallel reality where he's a celebrated superhero. So he wants to live in that reality and live in those shoes. So the multiverse aspect, it's part of the story. Like, without it, there is no story. Whereas in the MCU, it felt like we were trying to figure out, how does this all work? Doctor Strange multiverse of madness. So I love the Peacemaker trailer. We got that what is it? The Boys spinoff. what is it? V? I'm getting old. My whole uh my whole brain just hit a big fog. Okay, Gen V. Wow, Gen V trailer dropped and it looks dope. I love Gen V, and I was actually liking Gen V a little bit more than the boys, to tell you the truth, just because where I thought it was going to be like CW and teen drama, like it took itself really seriously. In areas where the boys would do things for a laugh or to shock you, Gen V was just doubling down on the stakes. And I like it. And I like that they're different. And basically, like, Homegirl who has the power with the blood, they're like, you are and can be the most powerful, super powered being here and more powerful than Homelander. And we know the last season is coming up. So I'm pretty sure she plays a part because as strong as Homelander is, he's still made of blood. And she can control that joint like freaking Jean Grey can, she's like their Jean Grey. So I'm very excited about Gen V. Absolutely, man. What else do we have on the docket here before I get into Comic Con stuff? I want to go back in Peacemaker news. Uh, James Gunn basically just talked about how like different characters will show up in Peacemaker. We already know that Guy Gardner and Hawk Girl and Maxwell Lord will show up via the first teaser, and he kind of alluded to other things. That's what I like about the Superman movie. Even if you didn't like the movie, is that it's an already existing world. So all these heroes are already there, not necessarily to make a cameo, but they just live in this world. And we saw that with Rick Flag Sr. He's hunting down Peacemaker, but we also know he leads the Creature Commandos, and he wasn't Superman. So already the world is coming together. Uh, so I'm excited. And James Gunn talked about the mural in the Hall of Justice, and he actually showed images of it now, so you can see Wildcat, Sandman. You can see there's another one, Johnny Quick. Um, so those are all the heroes that came before Superman. So that's pretty fun. I'm excited to see what this universe continues to show us. Um, and I think it's time to get into some Comic Con stuff, man. Which mainly, honestly, is going to be just toys. Yo, there's so much toys. I felt like some movies came, obviously. We got the Peacemaker trailer. They were in Hall H. Of course, if you watch Interview with the Vampire, they were there. Marvel wasn't there, but they already do their thing. Um, but like, let me just double check real quick to see if I'm missing any like movies and TV that we talk about here. Because the biggest thing I saw was just the toys, baby, and I want to get to the toys. But yeah, like I'm not seeing a whole lot of much else that we're interested in. Not really. I will say though that Peacemaker is going to take place 1 month after Superman, so they gave us a bit of a timeline. Maybe Superman will pop up. But yo, let's get into why we're here. Comic Con toys, baby. Let me share my screen. Cause I mean, honestly, there's so many toys they showed off. And listen, I'm only gonna show you what I like because there's so much. Uh Hold on, I gotta get this together. Get it together. Get it together. There we go. Well, this is the in art Superman. No, we'll get to in art. Okay, so first up, hold on. Technical difficulties. What's happening? Sorry. I promise I know how to use technology. Okay. So yo, they showed off these Batmobiles. And they look pretty dope. And now this wasn't Comic Con, but this came out like this week. So we know we're getting the Pattinson Batmobile, and we're getting the Rebirth Batmobile. So it's like I think our first like comic book Batmobile. I know we came out with some like little Raptor thing before or some Builder thing, but this is like the first like Batmobile in this scale that we're getting that's comic related. So that looks pretty dope. I mean, I, I mean, like I want them, but I don't need them. I don't have the space for them. But it would be really dope to get a comic style Batmobile. That's pretty freaking dope. And the Pattinson one, I actually really enjoy. And they also released. Do I have it here? Yeah, and they're also doing the Batman vs Superman or Justice League crowdfund Batmobile that McFarlane was doing, and they were pretty much very close to funding it. So pretty much there's four tiers, I believe. The first tier is just the Batmobile. Second tier is you get the Batmobile in pieces to make it to the Justice League Batmobile. The third tier you get figures, and the fourth tier you get the figures, you get all the things plus a signed, I forget what it is, by McFarlane. It would have been cool if it was signed by Zack Snyder, but it's from McFarlane. And it's pretty much, I think, almost all crowdfunded. So if you want to get on one of these tiers, I suggest you do it. I definitely, I love this Batmobile. I think it's such a good hybrid between the Tumbler and regular Batmobile. Like it's a nice mix. But I don't have the space, and between the three, I don't know which one. I'm not sure which Batmobile I would get out of these three. Chris would probably choose the comic book one. I might do the Pattinson one and the comic book one. If I had to just do one, I'm not sure. I'll get back to you on that. But Marvel showed some stuff here, and all these pictures are courtesy. Most of these pictures are courtesy of Toy Shiz. If you don't know who he is, go check out his Instagram. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. This guy gets all the toy news, and he also hits us with all the pre-order links and everything. He'll let you know if you in a certain town, if your Walmart is getting figures. Follow Toy Shiz. We have this battle damaged Spider-Man, which I definitely want. That is sick. That is pretty sick here. I definitely want that. And we're also getting this Spider-Man and Mephisto 2-pack, which looks really dope. Check out his page. There's actually a picture of Mephisto like on this throne. It looks really dope, man. And that's pretty much all I'm excited about for regular Marvel Legends. And then we get into like X-Men 97 stuff. This Storm is so dope. We're getting the next wave of X-Men 97 figures, and this I don't need another Wolverine, but this is a dope 2-pack of Wolverine and Storm. Now people are knocking this, man, but I think this is pretty fun of Gambit and Rogue. Like if you're a massive Gambit and Rogue fan, that's pretty dope of seeing them play basketball. I know Gambit's ab cut is real crazy, but I mean they're toys. They're toys. I think it's pretty fun. And we're also getting this plain clothes Wolverine, which I wish McFarlane did this more of just civilian identity clothes. And we're getting this mask, which is pretty dope. It looks like this role play. It looks specifically from you can see on the box, Deadpool and Wolverine. And I might, I'm debating because I have a couple of things. I have the McFarlane Batman cowl. I have this 3D printed Charlie Cox Daredevil cowl. I have an Iron Man helmet and a Power Ranger helmet. So I kind of like having these helmet and masks. That looks dope. I am a Wolverine guy, but I don't know if I'm a Wolverine guy enough to have his mask. I don't know. But let me know your thoughts. Well, let's jump to Jada Toys, man. It's hard to see here. These pics are still courtesy of Toy Shiz, but we're getting new Invincible figures. This is Mark in his blue and black suit, which is dope. I don't need him. I'm happy with the yellow one I have, but I tell you what I do need. I need that Conquest. That joint is sick. Sick. And it looks like the articulation is much better. This is it's the same toys, right? Is it the same toy makers as this guy? Is it? Is it? Because that has toe articulation and it has a double jointed knee. This does not. Um, well, let me see here. It's hard to see, but yeah, I think they're updated. Unless this is not even the same company, but I believe it is, right? Let me know in the comment section. But I'm definitely getting this. Let me go here. I'm getting this freaking. There's a kid Omni Man Oliver. This is dope. Having him side by side with my Invincible figure. That's pretty dope. That's gonna be fun. Let's move over to McFarlane, man. You know I'm a big McFarlane collector. I'm gonna be sad when they lose the license. But they showed some stuff, man. So we are getting that Batman Returns wave. Wasn't sure if it was going to happen, but it's happening, and these figures look excellent. Maxwell Shrek. Who would have thought we'd ever get a Maxwell Shrek figure? I can do without it, but definitely gonna probably get that Catwoman, that Penguin, and I think they're obviously deluxe, but I don't have a picture of it. But the Penguin comes with a giant penguin. I think that's the Build-A-Figure. I could be wrong, or that might be a 2-pack. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely gonna get the Penguin and the Catwoman. And I don't need another Keaton Batman for the collection, but this is looks so much more accurate than the other ones. I might just shut up and do it. We got this Peacemaker figure right here. I actually already pre-ordered this. This is already up for pre-order if it's not sold out already. I was had my eye on the first one that came out. Was waiting for that price to go down because it's so old. But I saw this come out, multiple helmets, multiple heads. Yeah, I got that bad boy. And then we have this right here. So we got this wave right here. And what I'm most excited about this is the freaking we're getting like first appearance Static Shock here with the Malcolm X hat. Definitely a cop. That's the one we've been waiting for. This one and the animated series. Hopefully we'll get the animated series. I didn't think we were gonna get this one. And I'll probably cop the Riddler and maybe Scarecrow here. Don't need the rest, but pretty dope. And these are just renders right here. And then I already showed you that. Is that it for McFarlane? I think that's it for McFarlane. I mean, there was a lot more, but that's what tickled my fancy. And then let me show you this, man. So Mondo. If you've been following Mondo, Mondo's been killing it. They have Superman the animated series Mondo, but what they were doing with the 6-inch Ghostbusters line is crazy. They're so expensive. I thought about just getting one, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to drop $100 for the real Ghostbusters, but I know I'm going to regret it. I should have just got Peter Venkman. Maybe I still will. I don't know. But this Janine looks dope, especially she comes with a desk and you can switch out her torso for the seated position. This is dope, man. This is fun. And they also showed us the She-Ra. This is their bigger one. It pretty much comes with everything you'll need to make her just like she was in the Filmation cartoon, especially when she was evil as well. You can turn her into her alter ego. This is a lot of cool stuff here. A lot of different display options, if you will. But yo, let me tell you something. InArt came to play. So InArt is getting into the 6-inch game. They're gonna make all these guys step their games up. So InArt is gonna do Batman vs Superman. This is their next 6-inch figure. Don't know when it's gonna come out. Now this is just a prototype, so it doesn't have any of the joints built in. So it's not gonna be soft goods except for the cape. And obviously it's like a little statue right here. But this is what they're gonna build into a 6-inch figure. And if anyone has that Christian Bale 6-inch InArt, you would know. You got to know they didn't play any games with this one at all. So they're coming out with this one. They're also coming out with obviously Ben Affleck's Batman, same situation. This is just a prototype showcasing what they're going to come out with. I have no idea how the joints are going to work on these, but they already have Anne Hathaway's Catwoman right here, which is interesting if you see the joints, because the thing about this Christian Bale is that with the armor, it's really hard to see or notice the joints too much, because like it naturally breaks in the knees where his knee pad is, and similar with the elbow pad here. So I'm curious to see how the joints work on figures like Superman, where it's just skin tight. You can't hide it under the armor. Similar to this right here, like they're doing this is sick. I might have to get this. It's just a work of art. 6-inch figure, the definitive, the Batman figure. And since it's so like, with the knee pads and all that stuff, it just hides the joints really well. I think that's beautiful. When I see the unmasked sculpt, how close that looks to Robert Pattinson, I'm gonna do it. I mean, it's the same reason I did Bale. Like I didn't need another Dark Knight Rises Batman action figure, but the second, I mean, the second he showed up, I had to, because it's just so beautiful. Um, Let me just double check something. Make sure. Usually around this time, it cuts my sound off, and I just want to make sure that's not happening right now. Um, so yeah. I mean, it's just fantastic. They're also going to give us this Deathstroke right here, which looks amazing. And they had a lot of other prototypes. So InArt's not playing. And of course, I showed you this. This is the InArt 1/6 scale Superman figure. And I am definitely think I'm going to get this one. I've been going back and forth between this and Hot Toys, and there's just no question. And the new images actually show that the colors are much brighter. I might have to. Mezco also came to play. So this is the Mezco Superman 2025, and people were clowning this, but I think it actually looks pretty good, and it's just a prototype, and they're still waiting for license approval, as you can see, but this looks pretty great. I don't need it, but do I want it? Not if I'm getting the 1/6 scale one, no, but it looks dope. This looks amazing right here. This freaking Red Hood by Mezco. This is the one to get if you're a freaking Batman fan, Red Hood fan. That looks absolutely amazing. And they're also doing Year One, as you can see. Looks great. This looks better than other Mezcos to me. I don't know what it is. The cloth looks tighter. It lays better. The figures don't look as frumpy. I mean, this one does a bit, but this one looks real clean. Next, man, Mafex. Yo, uncarded reviews. What's going on? They're not bad. Yo, I felt like Comic-Con was just a toy fair this year. They came to play. Did you pre-order it? Oh no, you're talking about what? The NR 112 scale which one? Which one are you talking? Corn Sweat? If they're gonna do Corn Sweat? What are you talking? Because I just showed, I don't know if you were here, I just showed that they're about to do the freaking Batman v Superman. Obviously, they don't have the articulation built into the figure yet, but they're showing us. And if you see that head sculpt is amazing, etc., you might want to get in on this one because, as a Cavill fan, I feel like this is going to be the definitive 6-inch, 7-inch figure. You talking 2025 or this one? Or are you talking the one? Yeah, you said 112. You talking 2025 or this one? Which one you talking uncarded? I was hoping they were going to say they're going to do the 2025 one, because then that's the one I would get, because InArt is killing it. Yeah. Oh, Batman v Superman. There's so many Supermans uncarded. Yeah, tell me that's crazy, right? That is crazy. Now, my question is, this is just a prototype, and I just wonder how it's gonna look when they put the joints in. It's not gonna be this clean, right? Like the Dark Knight figure benefits from being so armored that you can kind of hide the knee joint and the knee pad a bit. But how are they going to do this and keep it looking this clean, right? Because the patents in they can hide it. You can hide it easily in this. Is this is so bulky? Either way, head sculpt alone, I'm getting this. This is fire. This is dope. Amazing. And art's coming for the money. Uh Mayfex is out here though. Mayfex is doing freaking civilian joints. Hush Superman, Hush Batman Hush figures. Got Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent. And I believe Clark Kent's torso is removable. So you can have him be Clark Kent, but you can also do the iconic ripping the shirt open. I'm curious about that Bruce Wayne, although I probably won't get it because I'm not really building out my Mayfex like that to have like a whole Bat family or Bat centric figures. I kind of do that with McFarlane. Mayfex, I just grab my favorite characters. And I got the Muff Toys Clark Kent. As much as this Mayfex looks good, nothing's touching that Muff Toys Clark Kent. But their Batgirl's looking pretty good. I just wish they attached the capes more smoothly. I always had an issue with how they attach the capes with the plastic part. Under the cowl's plastic, but the rest is cloth. I mean, they're all like that and they're beautiful, but this is amazing right here, man. We got a Death of Superman 2-pack with Doomsday coming out. My boy Jack is gonna need this. Now, it may be the angle, but I feel like Doomsday should be much bigger than Superman. Not like McFarlane big, but a little bit. It could just be the angle. But that looks fire. That looks fire. And then we get into Lobo and a Wonder Woman right here, which is great because I believe they're coming out with a new Superman figure, which is going to be for tomorrow, I think, and she's in it. And this is kind of her look, but that Lobo might be a must-have for me. And of course, let's not forget Marvel will come out with this Venom figure, which is, it's not my bag, but it looks amazing. And this is the updated Superman, I think, for tomorrow, but it's still Jim Lee, I think. So it's going to look similar to Hush, but looks like we're getting a new, bigger body. Don't need it, but if you want it, it's coming. Mayfex is, Mayfex is very late to the party. The unlicensed company like CT. Yo, dude, okay. So I got that Mayfex Daredevil and just saw they just dropped, or they're about to drop the CT Toys Daredevil. And I was 2 seconds because I haven't opened them yet. I'm supposed to do an unboxing. I might do it later today. I haven't opened them yet. I'm like, do I return this to Amazon and get the CT Toys? I don't know. I mean, it's still a bootleg, right? So they're still gonna have QC issues, right? I saw some. I went on Reddit and saw some of the reviews on it. So this is still gonna have QC issues. Some of the paint's not gonna be smooth. Joints are gonna be gummy, which is fine because it's a bootleg. So I think I might get, like, if they do Nightwing or other figures that I don't need but I would like to have, I might try a CT toy. But with the figures that like some of my favorite characters, I'll still stick to Mayfix. But you're right. I don't know how Mayfix is allowing this. CT Toys has been ripping them off for a while. Unless Mayfix is CT Toys. And they found a way to bootleg their own figures so they can corner both sides of the market. Like use the stuff that's cheaper and the figures that should be thrown out because they have issues. Just repackage them up and call themselves CT. Because I don't know how they're able to do this. They're a blatant ripoff down to the tooling. And then we're getting some of the boys figures. Homelander, got Butcher here, and Maeve right there. But they also announced that they're going to be doing a Superman 2025 Mayfix figure, as well as a Daredevil from Daredevil Born Again, Daredevil, and the Punisher, which is dope. That Daredevil figure might be the only movie Daredevil figure you need. I feel like Mafex just came for Hasbro's money when it comes to that Charlie Cox Daredevil figure. And I'm curious what they do with the Superman. It's probably not going to come out for a while, but I'm curious because a lot of the companies, they're having a hard time with his head sculpt. So I'm very curious. Buy directly from an unauthorized CT Toys vendor with a 5-star rating. The real CT figures are almost. So wait. So you telling me that you got people bootlegging the bootleg? People are boot. So CT Toys is a bootleg of Mafex, and then you got bootleggers bootlegging CT Toys. Man, because I was looking at on AliExpress, and like there's so many people selling them. It's really hard to distinguish who's who. Um, but yeah, you just got to do your work and find vendors with 5 stars. What's an authorized? This authorized CT Toys vendors. It has a badge or something that says authorized. Because I'm like, I don't even. I'm new. I'm new to the C. I haven't. I was about to jump into the Gambit, but yeah, I was like, well, maybe I don't need it because they're still $30, right? They're not like $10, nor should they be, but they're still much cheaper than an actual Mafex. So I'll check it out, man. Did you have on Carter reviews? Have you gotten any CT toys yet? You have any figures yet? Did we talk about this? Huh? 'Cause I'm very curious about your experience. Let me just check. Maybe you probably did a YouTube review on it already. Did you? About to answer my own question. Well, you did do a couple comparisons. You did the oh that this was a little while ago. Yo, you already started 3 years ago doing verses with different figures. You should jump on that if you haven't already. I definitely support that. But anyway, that's pretty much all I got. I talked a lot for someone who's by himself today. Thank you guys for jumping in, etc. Uncarded. I appreciate you guys, everybody watching on I'm trying to end my share screen. Um Everybody watching the second time around. What do we got? Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch on Fugazi sellers trying to pass off bad KOs as authentic CT toys. But I have all the Wolverine figures: brown suit, blue suit, Spider-Man event. Yo, I'm Are you on card reviews on Instagram? Because I'm gonna send you a message. I'm gonna need your hookup. I'm gonna need your hookup because that's crazy how there's bootleggers bootlegging the bootlegs. Because I have a bootleg Mayfix Spider-Man. I just bought it for fun, and that joint broke came coming out the box. Uh, but yeah, man, hit me up on Instagram. You can hit me up directly, L Saint Vic, on IG, and let me know your hookup. You gotta tell the world right here. We don't need them to know your hookup, but share it with me. Anyway, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Let me talk your head off. Go see Fantastic Four. Go see Superman. Make it a double feature if you haven't seen him. Support these movies. We want them to make more. Superman is not perfect. Fantastic Four isn't perfect, but it's what we need right now to one, start up a whole franchise, a whole universe, and one, to reinvigorate one. So let's throw our support. You don't have to, but if you want to, it's a good time. It's a good doubleheader. It's a good Silver Age Jack Kirby sci-fi fantasy time. But thank y'all so much. Uncarded, thank you, etc. Thank you. I'm out. See, same bad time. Same. Oh, I'm going on a little vacation, so I'm not going to be here on a couple Sundays, but I will still have some videos out for you. So if I don't see you, have a wonderful couple weeks. Peace.